baby.
This woman is a scientist,
Irresistible.
an attractive scientist, a fact that's being independently verified.
You're so powerful.
Well, I think we can scientifically say she's above average attractiveness.
And she's about to take part in a pioneering experiment. What impact will she have on these skateboarders? By now you're possibly thinking this is a wind-up, but no, it's a real study. The skaters here don't even know what's really going on. They think they're being assessed by sports psychologists on what makes a good skater. But the question that's really being asked is why is it that young men take such potentially fatal risks? Foolish young men are a serious business.
It's young men who are actually the problems behind the wheel, and it's young men who are the problems in bar fights and other kinds of conflicts that escalate to serious violence.
Overall, they're 3.5 times more likely to die from all accidental causes than females are. And so we're interested in, well, what are the things that move guys to be such risk takers?
But how best to study it? Lab tests were lame.
A mild electric shock doesn't really tell you much about taking risks behind the wheel.
And ethics committees aren't that keen on throwing boys in fast cars until they crash. Then last year, Richard Ronay had a brainwave, courtesy of a misspent youth.
Skateboarding's interesting because every time you try and execute a trick, there's a point in the trick where you need to make a decision. And if there's any doubt, then you can choose to abort the trick. But if you choose to try and commit to it, then you expose yourself to that physical danger. And it was that split-second mid-air decision that we wanted to look at.
Hey, baby.
But what was the excuse for the girl,
Irresistible.
who's a psychology student called Catherine, by the way?
Hey, baby.
Well, it's the scientist's theory we're still only animals, and youthful risks are all about reproduction.
You get into the mating game. They need to do what it takes to compete with other males and to attract females. And our argument is that risk-taking is one of the ways that they do this. Risk-taking is what we call an honest signal of male quality. If I do something physically outrageous and I fly through the air, I either have to be very talented to achieve it or I have to be very robust when I land on my face and still get up and walk away.
So, are they right? Get ready for a classic experiment in animal behaviour. Once we've all finished preening, of course.
Okay, so we've got the scientifically validated attractive girl.
Here.
Check. We got the skateboarders.
Yep.
Okay, have we checked that they're all heterosexual?
100%.
All right, and we've got the testosterone samples.
Check.
Okay, well, we're ready.
So each of these skateboarders has been asked to perform a difficult trick, one that they're not so confident with. And the researcher over there is going to be videoing it. Now what they don't know is that the researcher is actually a key part of the experiment because they're going to do their tricks first in front of our attractive researcher and then in front of a guy. And we'll see if it makes a difference. That ought to hurt.
Really? Did you get a same feelings? Really?
They also answer questions, apparently about skateboarding, but really so they can interact with Catherine,
How did you do that skateboard?
who's pulling some top tricks of her own, which appear to be effective. Though, to be fair, they have been asked to do tricks they haven't mastered. A little bit frustrating, was that?
Yeah.
The luck of the day.
It's all good. It'll be okay.
Now we swap to the male researcher.
You do it. Oh.
Finally, bearing just a few flesh wounds, they get their testosterone taken. Now the analysis, frame by frame.
He's on top of the board.
Yeah,
The board's positioned under his feet
yeah.
until now he kicks it. See that?
Okay.
Between those two
oh,
frames,
right. So
he
between
kicks it
two
away.
frames, a decision got made
And now the board's
to
kicked
abort.
out. Yeah.
Wow. Stick or abort? That's what they have to decide with no time for conscious thought.
Stuck to it. And he's down. Fortunately, he also gets up.
That's where he got a bit
I say, do you want it from the elbow? Yeah.
They've already run 100 skateboarders through this. And, drum roll please,
Hey guys. So, we haven't been completely honest.
time to reveal the truth and the results of the experiment.
And what we found was that you bail the trick less when Catherine's present. You're more likely to stick to the board. What do you think about that? Surprising?
Yeah, I feel slightly ripped off.
In other words, with Catherine around, they were more likely to take the risk. What's more, on average, their testosterone was higher in her presence.
And it was the degree to which they showed the increase in testosterone that led them to show this increase in risk-taking.
But haven't the scientists just proven the bleeding obvious?
At one level, possibly so. We may well win the sort of no-duh award.
Or worse, just played to stereotypes, finding excuses for bad boy behaviour.
Whenever you do research on these evolutionary markers and on hormonal effects, you have the risk that you're going to confirm stereotypes. But I think that risk is outweighed by the fact that the truth is always worth knowing. And if it turns out that this is a stereotype for a good reason, and that is that evolution has pushed us in this direction, has created men who have a tendency to compete for women in risk-taking kinds of ways, then it's best to know it.
And in fact, surprisingly, no one has ever yet experimentally put these three together. The attractive woman, the risk-taking, and the testosterone. What's more, they think they may even know what part of the male brain is affected. This part, responsible for integrating emotions and higher-order control.
There's evidence that suggests that it gets activated by the presence of attractive women. And what that suggests to me is that maybe evolution put a short circuit in there. You know, that when your reproductive goals come in tension with your survival goals, maybe evolution said, well, let's lean toward reproduction. So that piece of brain that usually guides you that says, this is a bad idea, Bill, doesn't work as well when you're in front of attractive women because it's already being activated by her.
Sad to say, the scientists may have a point. We are just mammals. And if men never took a chance, well, let's face it, how far would their genes get?